Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Joe in Love, here with your AEW Rampage review. And happy October, everyone. Happy October. Month of September definitely flew by. Um, but I'm here with your AEW Rampage review for the 1st of October for 2021. Uh, Solid show. Back at it with the usual format, the 1 hour format. Last week, obviously, with Grand Slam, it was 2 hours and it was stacked. This week, back to 1 hour, flowed nicely. I mean, with the 1 hour format, um, it flows much quicker, obviously, and but it did what it needed to do. I think mostly the hype is going to be around the 2 year anniversary of Dynamite on Wednesday. So this is kind of a fall show of Rampage, but also leading into the 2 year anniversary of Dynamite. But nonetheless, good show for Rampage. We got Bryan Danielson's AEW Rampage debut. We got Hair vs. Hair, Orange Cassidy for Jack Evans. And we had a triple threat women's match, no disqualification. Nyla Rose, Jade Cargill, and Rosa. But if you're new to the podcast, and if you like this video, be sure to click that like, as well as if you want to see more on the channel, you can check out my AEW Dynamite review from the other day. If you missed it, you can check on down the channel plus more. But with that out of the way, let's get into the review of Rampage, actually, shall we? So, the show started off with Bryan Danielson for Nick Jackson and of the Young Bucks. Nick Jackson's second singles match in AEW and his first singles match in a long time. Of course, primarily with the Young Bucks. What I like about tag teams for AEW is that, of course, with WWE, you'd normally see competitors of a tag team paired off in the multiple singles matches to drive a feud into a pay-per-view, but here are the Young Bucks. You know, they've been obviously teaming for a decade, and Nick Jackson only has a handful that he can count on one hand of singles matches throughout the decade. So, but here this match with Danielson was a solid match. Was a suicide by Bryan followed by a missile drop kick. Then target the limbs of Nick Jackson, excuse me. Matt Jackson, his brother, was there with him at ringside, also with Brandon Cutler. But it was mostly about Danielson trimming down the limbs of Nick, softening him up for submissions, and beautiful rebound lariat by Nick Jackson, which got Bryan turned inside out. A back suplex by Bryan for a near fall. A spear by Matt on the outside while the referee was distracted took down Bryan going into the break. So then Bryan was back, hitting with his signature kicks to the chest. The big roundhouse kick to the head for a near fall. 2 super kicks by Nick Jackson for a 2 count. Then they were on the apron and Bryan went for his kicks, but his leg, as Nick ducked, hit the ring post. So that compromised him for the time being. German suplex by Nick Jackson onto the apron. Then a corkscrew, beautiful dive from the top rope to the outside by Nick. Bryan followed up, hitting a dragon suplex, followed with some stiff elbows, then locked on the cow mutilation. For the win, Nick tapped, and Bryan gets his first W in AEW. After the match, the Elite came down to check on Nick. Christian Cage and Jurassic Express came down to check on Bryan. Kenny Omega fled, and the two teams brawled and sang up for next week on Dynamite with that 8-man tag. Should be fun between the Elite, Christian versus Bryan, Christian, and Jurassic Express. We got a promo by CM Punk. He talked about how his success in AEW thus far and how he's itching to fight the best and he's got a target on his back. Who's next for CM Punk? That's an interesting question because as we see, well, I imagine that once Ricky Starks is done with Brian Cage, we're going to get CM Punk versus Ricky Starks because Punk just laid out Hobbs last week on Rampage. So, should be interesting. Then we got a 3-way women's match: Jade, Cargill, Nyla Rose, and Thunder Rosa. This was interesting for what it was. No DQ. Of course, stemming the rivalry between the three. Bringing up the Casino Battle Royal, how out. But, so, start off the bat, Rosa was fighting off 2 women at a 2-on-1. And then Rose caught Rosa in midair with a front slam for a near fall. Jade knocked Nyla to the outside with a forearm. Then, as they got back from break, there was a table set up and then a trash can thrown into the ring. Nyla was trying to throw or propel Rosa into a table set up on the outside, but Rosa countered and powerbombed Nyla Rose into his table, which took her out, and then back into the ring. Jade had a chair and laid in an assault and chair strikes on Thunder Rosa, and then pinned her 1, 2, 3. Jade Cargill pins Thunder Rosa. Surprising to say the least. But, I mean, Thunder Rosa is obviously the next big babyface and gonna be the one to take the title off Britt Baker. But I can see why they did this because maybe they're not ready to take the title yet off Britt. And if Rosa won this, it would definitely propel her more into getting the title shot at Full Gear, but perhaps they're waiting on it. And of course, there's no DQ, so perhaps that's another form about it. But at the same time, Jade, she's the most inexperienced of the three. She still has to get better to be where they want her to be. Because for anyone who's watching her can tell she looks the part, but she still has to get better in the ring. So curious to see where they come back from this decision. Because Rosa, they showed her she was number one ranked contender, but we'll see. So then we got a Malachi Black promo. Just so good at what he does. I mean, definitely an ace for AEW. Definitely, arguably the best pick. It's either Black or Cole, in my opinion, as the better pickup for AEW this year. But these vignettes by Black just amaze me. So Black, he was down onto a staircase. He talked about Cody, his win over Cody last week, saying that mist he spewed in Cody's face, he hopes it consumes him, and every bit of him, and then let it be a lesson to everyone left in AEW that there's plenty of toll left to be collected. Malachi Black, arguably the best with these promos, vignettes. I mean, just not much to say. Who could be next for Malachi Black? I mean, he went through the whole Nightmare family, and Cody, he's in the process of turning heel. I think they're done with Cody and Black. So I don't know. I'm not sure because Darby could have been a good contender for Black. That could have been. Now they still probably could do it in the future, but Darby, as you can see, is going to be feuding with MJF. So, but there's a who's who now of opponents that Malachi Black could target. So then in the main event, we had Orange Cassidy. Well, before the main event, we had a nice little promo package of Ricky Starks driving a car and talking about Brian Cage. I mean, with this whole Brian Cage and his wife uh, calling out his treatment on AEW television, I wonder if that's put a dent in their plans. Um, I'm not sure, but nonetheless, it feels like this Brian Cage Ricky Starks match just has been leading on, and we know that Punk just finished with Hobbs, so we're just waiting for Starks to get done with Cage, so that way we can get to Starks versus Punk. But we still got plenty of weeks till Full Gear. It's a month away, so yeah. Well, but I can definitely see Ricky Starks for CM Punk at the Target Center in Minneapolis. So now we get to the main event. Orange Cassidy versus Jack Evans. Hair versus hair. Another note, they did the side by side interview for the main event. Mark Henry. Chris Jericho's not in commentary. He was selling the attack by American Top Team last week. So just Excalibur and Taz along with Ricky Starks, but still went well for commentary. But getting to the match, I mean, Jack Evans, we know, is uber talented. And with Angelico as a tag team, they're underrated, but they're a part of this deep tag team division. And, Orange Cassidy, he's been finding his ways, trying to figure where he could factor into this team AEW picture. But, I mean, after tonight, if it's over, I wouldn't mind seeing Black versus Orange Cassidy. Definitely be something to see. But Gaines match, so Matt Hardy tried to distract the referee at start of the bell, allowing Jack Evans to roll up Orange Cassidy for a close and near fall to start. Orange Cassidy landed suicidas on both Jack Evans and Matt Hardy. Went for a crossbody, but rolled through by Evans for a near fall. Evans laid some offense on Orange Cassidy. Hit Michinoku driver by Evans for a 2 count. Then the Hardy family office, they all came out. The rest of the best friends, Chris Statlander, she came out. The Dark Order also came out to fend off the Hardy family office. And the Hardy family office hightailed it, left Jack Evans out to dry. Orange Cassidy hit the orange punch on Evans, pinned him 1, 2, 3, and Jack Evans loses this hair versus hair match. So then they set the chair up, and or originally it looked like there was going to be a chair in the corner, ringside, for Jack Evans to get his haircut, but Chuck Taylor threw a chair into the ring, and Evans, who was still selling the effects of the orange punch, Orange Cassidy, Jack Evans, or excuse me, Chuck Taylor and Will Utah, they all shaved the head of Jack Evans, and that ponytail of Jack Evans is no more. So at least he still has a beard, as Taz described it on commentary, saying maybe it could be beard versus beard, but Orange Cassidy was sweeping it up. After the Dark Order came into the ring, uh, I think it was Winter Utah that gave -1 Brody Lee's son a fake mustache. So that was funny. Um, and then they all compiled for a big group hug in the middle of the ring. Good spot because still in Rochester because it was taped. And then Orange Cassidy hoisted -1 on his shoulder, gave him his shades. So, I mean, what a time. I mean, how lucky of a guy is -1, Brody Lee's son? On Dynamite, he hugs Ty Conti and Jay. And then here on Rampage, he gets hoisted on Orange Cassidy's shoulders and given the shades of Orange Cassidy. I mean, of course, if only Brody was there. That's the only thing that would made this moment a lot better. But still was a good moment, feel good moment to end the show in Rochester. So good. Decent show. Did what it was. So on Dynamite, the 2-year anniversary of Dynamite on Wednesday, we're gonna get the 8-man tag team match, the Elite versus Christian Cage, Bryan Danielson, and Jurassic Express. We got Karushita looking for her 50th win against Serena Deeb. That should be a good women's match. And we also got a casino ladder match, which will be, and I quote, Lance Archer, Matt Hardy, Orange Cassidy, Jon Moxley, Andrade Del Idolo, Pac, and a Joker. So, who will that Joker be? I'm guessing maybe Hangman Adam Page. Maybe see him back in the fold next week. We'll have to see his timetable with his uh, girlfriend, if she had their kid or not. We'll have to see on that. But if not Hangman, I'm not sure. But that's a bunch to look forward to on the 2-year anniversary of Dynamite Wednesday. But nonetheless, that's the episode for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I did for your Rampage review. I'll be back next week with, again, 2-year anniversary of Dynamite and back at it again with Rampage. So thank you. Be safe. Peace.